district. A majority of those parent members must not be employed by a school district. The members must be given 2 weeks written or electronic notice of meetings. So our Board of Education approved committee was originally approved January 17th, 2005, was revised in 2009, and then again in 2011. The advisory board consists of 16 voting members and 3 non-voting members. There are 8 parent representatives distributed among the elementary, middle school, and high school levels. There is 1 clergy member from the community, 1 health professional from the community, 1 central office administrator, and 1 high school student. 3 teachers will represent the district, 1 from 5th grade, 1 from 7th or 8th grade health, and 1 from 9th grade PE or health. An assistant principal from 1 high school and 1 middle school, as well as an elementary principal, will represent building administration as non-voting members. Southline Community Schools Board of Education approved committee right now consists of myself as the CETA administrator and a non-voting member, Misty Bratcher, who is our district's Healthy Sexuality Advisory Committee co-chair and is also one of our middle school health and PE teachers. We have a parent co-chair who was voted in by our committee. We have an administrator from all 3 building levels that are non-voting members. We have a teacher from all 3 building levels. We have local clergy, local medical professional, 2 parents of elementary students, 4 parents of middle school students, 2 parents of high school students, and 1 high school student. And the terms for the high school students alternate between the 2 high schools. So the committee's role: the advisory board is responsible for establishing program goals and objectives for pupil knowledge and skills that are likely to reduce the rates of sex, pregnancy, and STDs. They also review and recommend materials and methods to the board, taking into consideration the district's needs, demographics, and trends, including but not limited to teenage pregnancy rates, STD rates, and incidents of sexual violence and harassment. They also evaluate, measure, and report attainment of the program goals and objectives, and make the resulting report available to parents in the district at least once every 2 years. The meeting purpose and schedule for this school year: we have 3 meetings scheduled as of right now. We met on September 29th, 2020, October 1st, 2020, and then we will have a spring meeting, the date to be determined, to work on our attainment report for 2021. The purpose in meeting is to evaluate and report on the program of the previously set goals, to establish a need for curriculum updates, and to revise curriculum and make recommendations to the Board of Education regarding those changes. So now we will talk a little bit about the recommendations coming forth related to middle school health. So the recommended updates to middle school health from the committee include to transfer previously approved teaching materials to a Google Slide format so that healthy sexuality can be taught remotely due to the COVID-19 pandemic for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade health. They also recommend to paraphrase previously approved reading materials for students into an electronic format, as well as a printable packet format, so students can have a personal copy of the reading material during instruction for the 6th and 7th grade health. The committee also approved content from the current 6th grade Healthy Sexuality unit to be taught in 7th grade for 2020-2021 due to missed instruction during the spring of 2020, and that was due to the school shutdown. The committee also approved content from the current 7th grade Healthy Sexuality unit to be taught in the 8th grade for 2020-2021 due to missed instruction during the spring of 2020, also a result of this school shutdown. And lastly, the committee approved a slide deck for instruction based on previously approved curriculum materials for 8th grade. At this time, we will talk through the guidelines for public testimony, also known as public comment. There was a link in the public meeting notice for you to enter written public testimony or to indicate that you would like to offer verbal testimony. Keep in mind, each speaker must keep his or her comments to 3 minutes or less, and we ask that you please listen to all comments in order to limit repetitive comments. And if you are part of an organization or a group, you should select a representative to speak on their behalf. At this time, we will take a short 10-minute break to allow those. Yes.
Kristen, I'm actually going to have you cycle back. The stream for this hearing started for the public at the slide about legal authority for the committee. So if you could just recap that minute or two that started sooner
Yes.
so that those who were joining us did not miss out. Thank you.
Yep. So prior to this slide here, Lisa?
Correct.
Okay, let me go back here. So let me recap the beginning of our hearing for those of you that did not see the beginning of this. The legal authority for the public hearing. The reason we have these hearings is because before a school district can make revisions to the healthy sexuality curriculum, a school district has to hold at least 2 public hearings on the proposed revisions. The hearings have to be held at least 1 week apart, and public notice of the hearings shall be given in the manner required under Section 1201 for board meetings. A public hearing held pursuant to this section may be held in conjunction with a public hearing held pursuant to Section 1169. In compliance with the public hearing laws, notice was posted in the administration building on October 2nd, 2020, and also electronically on the district website on October 2nd, 2020. And those public hearings were scheduled. We had one last Wednesday, October 7th from 9 to 10 a.m. And then today, October 14th from 1 to 2 p.m. And the content is identical at both hearings. The purpose of those hearings is to report to the public the progress of the school district's Healthy Sexuality Advisory Committee and to obtain input from the public regarding the proposed revisions to the healthy sexuality curriculum and instruction for the district. The process for conducting public hearings, the advisory committee process and its recommendations are reviewed. Parents, staff, and community members will then have an opportunity to provide feedback, both written and verbal, and the Board of Education take this feedback into consideration when discussing and voting on the changes recommended by the advisory committee. Our committee membership in this district, the legal authority for the committee, first of all, is that every district choosing to implement sex education must have a sex education advisory board. The local school board determines the terms of service, the number of members, and a membership selection process that reasonably reflects the school district population. The advisory board has to include parents of children attending the district schools, pupils in the district schools, educators, local clergy, and community health professionals. At least half of the members must be parents who have a child attending a school operated by the district. And a majority of those parent members must not be employed by a school district. Members also must be given 2 weeks written or electronic notice of meetings.
Kristen, just so you know, this is basically where we were starting the stream, so you're good from here if you need to go to the break.
Okay, so let me just go through this slide and then we will jump to public comment. So the school board approved committee that happened first on January 17th, 2005, was revised again in 2009 and then again in 2011. So that recaps the beginning of the presentation, which I apologize that people were not able to see initially. But let me go back to public testimony at this point. So we will take a 10-minute break. And during this time, if you wish to provide public comment, we ask that you fill out the form using the link on the meeting notice that is posted on the district website. And then we will reconvene in 10 minutes and we will then go through the public comment. And we will reconvene at 1:25 p.m. Sexuality Advisory Committee will take the recommendations to the Board of Education for information and approval on October 19th, 2020. The board will also be provided with copies of the feedback forms and minutes from both public hearings. We want to thank you for participating in this public hearing. And just as a reminder, those feedback forms that were filled out will be provided to the Board of Education as part of their board packet for the October 19th meeting. And at this time, concludes the end of our public hearing. Thank you.